Minister, I tabled a question to you in February and I'm back again on the same subject because I'm unhappy, but more importantly the group behind the request for a new Educate Together school in Galway is most unhappy with the response. And given that there are 5 primary schools under the Educate Together banner, given an independent report by NUIG establishing the need for a school, given your own school building programme that identifies Galway as an area where a new school may be necessary in 2018, and many other criteria that I might come back to you, can you now confirm what steps the Department has taken in relation to that? There are 1,480 children down on a list with expressions of interest alone for a new secondary school under Educate Together.
Well, I suppose I will be repeating some of the information, but it's important that the House knows how the system works. There are 314 geographic planning areas operated by my department, and within those, the department looks at the school places being provided in the school planning area and sizes that up against the demographic pressure that's coming through. And they use GIS sources of data, the department's own databases of children coming through. And it's with this information that they carry out and identify the areas where there needs to be new schools at primary or at post-primary level. As you know, this year we have 13 new schools, 9 at post-primary, 4 at primary level. And these were areas where they responded to need. And we are continuing to keep the Galway City area under review. But the position in Galway City is that it is an area defined as of demographic growth. It's also an area where certain schools are experiencing a decline in pupil numbers. And from a review of the data, the department found that existing post-primary schools in Galway City are capable of meeting the needs of this school planning area in the short to medium term. The 11 existing post-primary schools in Galway City, they include 2 new schools, which opened in September 2013 in response to emerging demographic needs. They were Merlin College in Duishka and Coláiste Ballyclár, which will provide between them 1,650 school places once completed. As with other school planning areas nationwide, the demographic data for the Galway City planning area has been kept under review by my department.
Connolly,
previous question, and I did say I was moving on from it. There are 5 national schools under the Educate Together banner in Galway. They have no secondary school to go to. As I understand it, only 1 school is experiencing a situation where numbers are dropping. All other schools have a waiting list. Indeed, in Ballyclár, children can't get into the new secondary school. An independent analysis by NUIG showed that a new school was necessary. I'm repeating that your own school building programme showed that may be necessary in 2018. There are 1,480 children already on a list for expressions of interest. Your own programme for government commits to new schools and giving choices to parents and children in relation to schools of a particular ethos or none. And so we have Knocknacarra, Newcastle, Clare, Galway and Kilcolgan, which is currently in Kilcornan, with no secondary school to go to. We have schools with waiting lists, and you're telling me that the demographic studies by your department show that a school isn't necessary. Something is amiss somewhere, Minister, in relation to the analysis.
Well, the data is provided here. There are 11 post-primary schools and they have 6,168 pupils. The capacity in the area, with the inclusion of the 2 new schools, is 6,711, so 540 additional places over and above current enrolment. 2 of those schools, as you say, are new. And I should say, the way in which the department selects, we don't select individual patrons. We have a patronage competition. So we don't designate it should be this patron or not. We have a competition. So for those 2 schools, there was a patronage. Well, in the case of one, there was a patronage process. The previous one came in before the patronage competition. But they're both multi-denominational schools under the patronage of the ETB. So those 2 new schools are multi-denominational schools. So that is the basis on which our department, and we apply the same rules in every catchment. This isn't, discriminating in one or other. But the data that's being presented to me is that there are 500 odd places over and above, if you like, current enrolment within the catchment at post-primary. And of course, if and when a new school is needed, we will have it open to patronage, competition where the view of parents prevail.
There are 12 post-primary schools according to the Department of Education and 35 national schools, although I do admit other things says 36 and 11. But in any event, there are waiting lists for practically almost all secondary schools in Galway, Iverahane. Though the statistics that you're using have been challenged by the Educate Together group, who are more than willing to meet with your officials and tease these differences out. There have been mistakes made in relation to figures and in relation to the way that it's done. It says that 95% of the schools in a particular area go to a school in that area. That is not correct. Vast volumes of people are travelling in from different areas to Galway City to go to school. So again, I'm appealing to you, at the very least, this campaign has gone on since 2012. 5 years later, at the very least, what Educate Together deserve is a meeting with the department officials to tease out what appears to be substantial differences between the figures the department is coming up with and the figures that this group is coming up with on the ground. So at the very least, I would appeal to you, Minister, to facilitate that as soon as possible.
Well, no, just to make it clear, I mean, 2 new schools have been provided in this area. It's not that the department is doing nothing. The 2 new schools have been provided, and as of today, the department's data shows that there are more places than enrolments. Now, obviously, if there's data that you wish to submit, I will get the officials to examine that data. But what happens in many cases, and I have a little bit of experience from meeting other deputies, is that groups will be outside of the catchment area to find schools to try and, if you like, form different geographic areas than the one the department uses. Now, I can understand why they would do that, but we have to operate on a fair way across the whole country, and that's the approach that's been taken. It's an established process. It's attempting to be fair to all who apply. But by all means, submit data and we will have them examined.